Well, that was, that was real good. You must have been practicing by yourselves again. Did you hear that one whistle just kind of died out there? This is a great audience tonight.
Yeah.
You deserve the best. So what are you all doing here? Hey, hey. Hey. Now there.
Nice.
Sporty. Hey. That's a nice ensemble.
Thank you.
Very smart.
Yeah, well, they're a bunch of friends of mine.
No, I don't. You did it again, didn't you? I have an announcement to make. Tommy Newsome just made his acting debut, movie acting debut, a new film called Hardly Breathing. Did you ever try to call Tommy at home?
No.
He has one of those answering machines, which I don't like anyway. But you call and says, "This is Tommy Newsome. I'm busy right now. Please leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as Mr. Rogers is over." Anyway, we got a good show tonight. Some nice people. Don't we have a visitor from the East tonight
Yes,
also?
he's coming.
Yes. And, we come to you from the lovely city of Burbank,
Yes.
California. I hear from the Chamber of Commerce occasionally because they say I do too many jokes about Burbank, and I shouldn't, but how can I best describe Burbank? Let me put it this way. I understand the elephants turned it down when they were looking for a place to die. What? That was, I did it again, didn't I? We must have talked about this. It was kind of a slow news day. You can always tell when it's a slow news day. The headline in the Los Angeles Times this morning said, "Supermarket manager caught pasting Chiquita banana stickers on unauthorized bananas." It's also a slow delivery day here. Ed, as you know, if you saw the show last night or the night before, just got back from a sensational cross-country vacation trip, which was not without its hardships. The man really suffered. About halfway through, he was Muncie, Indiana. Ed had to fire his wine steward when he lost the key to the champagne cooler.
Yes.
It was a terrible trip, wasn't it?
You went all the way to Indiana?
I went to Indiana for that joke. There was a bulletin that just came over the news machine a moment ago. Yeah, I just heard that the Easter Bunny's girlfriend called him and told him that the human died. I feel like Peter Toole down at the bottom of Masada. Did you watch the finish of Masada last night? Yeah. I think they went a little too far in casting all the British actors as Romans. Did you notice? They're running up there. I say, Governor, we're going to break it in. And if you look closely, you had to look closely, the part of Peter O'Toole's courtesan was played by Benny Hill, who looked ravishing. Now, I'm going to tell you something I shouldn't tell you, but it's on the news because it's kind of silly. How many of you are familiar with a stock market analyst by the name of Joseph Granville? Yeah, he's been rather controversial the past few years because apparently he's had some successes in the stock market, not as many as he thinks. But today or yesterday, he predicted, and I guess it was on Tom Snyder's show?
Sure.
Did any of you see that show? No. He predicted that California tomorrow morning is going to have a huge earthquake, like .8 on the Richter scale. I do not understand that. That's like asking the box boy at Ralph's, what do you think of the weather? We're going to have an earthquake tomorrow. And they put it on the news. And following that, Tamara Rand is waiting until Saturday to predict that earthquake. Here's some. Did you know that the FCC just gave the telephone company authorization to go ahead with a 17% rate hike on long-distance calls? Another, they need more money. But you've got to remember, a phone company suffers from inflation, too. Do you know how much it costs to keep a vault in Switzerland? $2. Guy said, how much? I don't know how much it costs. I have the solution. Don't send in your phone bill this month. Later on when they call you, play a tape recording that says, you know, you can really keep your phone bills down if you look the number up. Well, let's see. Secretary of State Alexander Haig has completed his Mideast tour. And I understand while he was in the Mideast, he offered the zealots on Masada nuclear rocks. You know, I just had a weird thought. You realize with Haig out of the country, Reagan and Bush are next in line of succession? There's some news kind of close to home. RCA, the Radio Corporation of America, has replaced our chairman, Edgar Griffith, with Thornton Bradshaw. Do you know who Mr. Bradshaw is? Thornton Bradshaw is the president of ARCO, which is the Atlantic Richfield Oil Company. And he's going to replace the former, what was he, chairman of the board of RCA from ARCO. And there are rumors around that there may be some changes made. I understand one vice president already at NBC is going to be replaced by Mr. Goodwrench. Okay, I don't want to keep you because I know you want to go across. I know you got to go right across the hall and catch card sharks, which are where you can yell and scream and have a good time and probably win prizes. Anyway, tonight we've got a very funny young man. Albert Brooks is with us, and a lovely actress. A really fine actress, a nice-looking lady.
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon is with us tonight. And a visitor from the East, so stay where you are and be sure.
Very good. Tommy Houston. Yes. Well, I can't think of a better crowd to receive our first guest, the mystical man from the East. He's here, right here, yes. The all-knowing, all-seeing, all-omniscient, famous seer, soothsayer, and former backup singer for Barbie Benton, Karnak the Magnificent. Welcome once again, oh great Karnak.
May the rains of Rajpur wash the unnatural desires from your mind.
What a mixed blessing.
What a mixed mind.
I hold in my hands the
hope
envelopes.
so.
These envelopes, as a child of 4 can plainly see, are hermetically sealed. They've been kept in a mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Wagnall's porch since noon today. No one knows the contents of these envelopes, but you, in your mystical and borderline divine way, will ascertain the answers to the questions, having never heard the question. Isn't that right, sir?
Sure.
The first envelope, hermetically sealed.
I do not know the answer. It is sealed in this envelope.
Funkin' Wagnall's porch,
I will divine the answer.
since noon.
Quiet, please. The answer is a vast cosmic explosion.
A vast cosmic explosion.
That's what I said. Describe Dr. Carl Sagan's wedding night. The vast cosmic explosion. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
What was the vice president's first name before he changed it to George? Actual first name was a bird in the hand is worth 2 in. No coughing while Karnak is.
Nice to hear some sound.
How about this sound? You're fired. Somewhere over the rainbow. Where did Jerry Brown go to high school? Oil of Olay.
Oil of Olay.
Oh, shut up. What do you use to deep fry a bullfighter? Everett, Austin, and Goolagong. Name 2 tennis players and the sound a naked fat man makes when he runs through a car wash.
You already divined that, and
That's
you didn't
right.
care for it.
That's right. Larry, Curly, and Moe.
Larry, Curly, and Moe.
Who does Secretary of State Haig come after in the line of succession?
All right?
Excuse me.
Kind of dozed off there.
The postman always rings twice.
The postman always rings twice.
How do Siamese twins know when their mail has arrived? May an allergic camel cough on your quiche. Hickory dickory dock. Where do you go to if you're having trouble with your hickory dickory? A royal pain. What did Prince Charles get when he fell off his horse? BVD. What do you call a social disease among hornets? Henry R. Block.
Henry R. Block.
Name the one person who's rich after April 15th.
I hold in my hand the last envelope.
May your spinster sister cough up a yak hairball. I have to have silence. Betty Crocker, Magic Johnson, and Tamara Rand. Name a baker, a laker, and a faker.
Stay with us.
Thank you, Tom. We're back. We have Albert Brooks, Susan Sarandon with us. Now, remember several weeks ago, we had a discussion on this show.
Yes.
I'd seen a National Geographic special about a bird called I called it the swit at the time. It was the swift.
Yes.
Had to do with a bird that as soon as it's born and learns to fly, flies for 3 years.
Before stopping.
Never lands.
Yeah.
For 3 full years before it comes back to the nest.
And I brought up the subject about the shark
You said
swims.
you were putting down my bird.
I was never putting down your bird.
You said, big deal. How about a shark?
That's right. Who
and I
swims.
said, the shark does not fly.
That's right.
And you said.
It would look very silly flying. I
Yes.
said, but it swims continuously, all its life.
Aha.
What does that mean? What does that
That's what it means. Aha. I have a letter here. Official letterhead. This is not, a paste-up job. This is from Mr. F.G. Walton Smith.
Not embossed, it's just printed on.
Printed. But it's from the International Oceanographic Foundation. And they put out magazines called Sea Secrets and Sea Frontiers, so forth. The International Oceanographic Foundation.
It certainly sounds like a legitimate outfit.
These people know water. Okay. Water is their life. This is what they do. That's why they call it
Water is their business?
oceanographic. They do not spend
All
much
right.
time on land.
So what, they corroborated what I said?
Aha! You were so sure. You practically... Positive. He says, see page 4 of Sea Secrets. I have Sea Secrets here in my hand. Question from DH. People write in, they want to know about things like this.
Man wouldn't give his full name?
DH. Well,
Give initials?
some people who
You
spend a lot
believe
of
a
time...
man would give initials at the end of a letter?
It's a small, they don't have time space to print the whole letter. All right, Don Harris, Encino. I was trying to save time. I was giving an initial.
DH.
Question, he asks.
Yes.
Why do sharks have to swim to keep breathing? Answer. In Sea Secrets.
Page 4 from DH.
Not all sharks are required to swim continuously. Now, remember the night on the show?
Yes.
I said there were some sharks that sit on the bottom?
That's right.
And you said, but they got to keep moving on the bottom.
No, I agree with that. I said there are only certain sharks.
You said all sharks had to
Yes,
continue
all right.
swimming. Oh, now, you admit that.
Yes.
The critical factor is whether or not the shark has a mechanism for pumping water over its gills, like a bony fish. Some sharks, such as the nurse, lemon, bull, and Springer sharks, have such a muscular adaptation in the gill region that allows them to pump water into the stomach out over the gills. Nurse sharks are often seen resting on the sea bottom, sleeping, not moving. The others do so less frequently.
But it proves that some sharks, right? I had an undistributed middle term. You know, from, remember that?
Unequivocal middle term?
No, undistributed. From you know what it was in logic. What was that? I can't think of the name of it. 3 things, So some sharks have to swim all their life.
You didn't say some sharks had to
I
swim.
corrected myself the next night. I spoke to a shark authority named DH.
No, it says other species of sharks lack that.
Yes, so
And they have to keep moving constantly with their mouths open.
Yes.
And that's known as the dumb shark. So if you ever skin dive and you see a shark going along, you know he is breathing.
Yes, and don't go near him.
Don't go near him. We'll be right back. Nice shark. My first guest. I'm an admirer of Albert Brooks. He's a very clever young man, and he directed, co-wrote, and stars in a film called Modern Romance, which is a very realistic and funny film that explores the face of love in the 1980s. I guess maybe it's changed. It's called, did I mention the title? Mm-hmm. Yes, Modern Romance. Would you welcome Albert Brooks?
I do have something to add to that. Birds cannot sleep in the water either. They will swim till they die, which is about 40 seconds.
They keep their eyes closed, I
They
think.
keep their
when
eyes
do
closed and
it,
they
though.
swim for about 40. I've seen a bird swim 50 seconds and then he dies. Some birds get eaten by fish first.
Of course they do.
But why eat into my time with this?
This is right. This is not National Geographic.
No.
Let me ask you an honest question. You wrote this film now. You directed it, co-star in it. You get tired of going around talking about it? Do you feel like, gee, this is the way the business works, and I've got to go on shows and do it?
I'm sick as hell of doing it. No, well, I mean, there are certain shows that you look forward to coming on. Of course, this is one of them.
Well, I certainly
Some
hope
of them,
you would say that.
Yes, well, I mean, I would. AM Canada is another matter. You know? It's a little tough when they get there. You know, a Canadian early in the morning isn't the wittiest person. Not that. No. I mean very early. I mean after 8 o'clock, it's fine. But it's from 6 to 7. They kind of ask you, "You're from America?" Yeah. So are you. You know. We're all here. And they, of course, wear heavy clothes, but they're very nice people, and I hope they enjoy the movie.
That's right. And swim in water with their mouths open.
It's the small ones, the small shows that are tough, and it's only because of it's the questions, I think, that are.
What can I ask you that they haven't asked you? Now, this thing's about love, and I've not seen the picture yet, I'll be honest.
Well, they have.
I wish I had seen it. No, I've read some very nice things about it.
Oh, no.
They like the picture.
Yes.
But you're currently not married, are you? I don't think you have been married.
No, I'm currently not married. No, during the little shark bit you were doing, I was proposing to somebody, but it didn't take.
So we kill time in the green room.
No, I'm not married. I haven't been married yet. This film deals with a particular kind of relationship I've had, though. It's a very frustrating one.
Yeah.
It's a relationship that you should not be in. It's a relationship where there are areas that are very good, like in this case, the sexual area is very good. Then there are areas that are very bad, like everything else.
Defines it down.
Yes, and I mean, these are two completely different kinds of people. I'm an outgoing person. This woman, played by Catherine Harold, she works at a bank, very sedate, and you meet and you feel that this is what life is supposed to be. You're not supposed to have anything in common. You're supposed to feed off each other. And then that lasts for about 30 seconds until you run out of things to say.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets hard to get into bed at 2 in the afternoon, you know? So you break up, and then, of course, you miss the hugging, and you get back together. And then when you get back together, you miss the fact that you're not talking English, and then you break up again. And it's just this continual cycle that goes on.
Nobody's ever figured it out, though, really. You see, you're tapping a subject that experts cannot. You know, if you read the Dear Abby column, which I do sometimes for comedy material.
She writes with a lisp. It's interesting.
She has.
No, I mean, it's very nice.
But people write in with all kinds of problems. And one of the most frequent is, how do you know when you're in love? And all the philosophers from time started have not been able to answer. How do you know when you're in love? The only answer
I have one answer to that. None of my pants fit. That's the only answer.
I think Schopenhauer first said that, but Schopenhauer did that. The old pants-fitting syndrome.
Yes. I don't know.
No, but people do. Now, see, I remember people saying you had to have a lot in common. You should have certain basic backgrounds.
Well, I'm back to believing that again.
And other people said you should have opposites, so you can, extract.
And those are generally people that are in terrible relationships, so they can watch you die along with them. You know, you go visit a man and his wife who have nothing to say, and the guy traps you at the door and he says, "Don't marry anybody you like, please. You know, please come over and suffer with me, God, please." So
everybody wants you.
Generally, I think you do have to have something in common. Otherwise, you should marry people that don't speak English, and then you've got a head start. So I'm now exploring. There's a whole other country. Europe is a ball.
That's right. Women are starved for love in Europe.
And you don't even know if you have anything in common because you say hello and they go, and it sounds good, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't.
Maybe that's the answer, to marry somebody where there's not a common language.
That's right. That's right.
Now, you mentioned the sexual thing. Now, most people, when they first meet each other, let's be honest, it is usually a physical attraction at first. Usually, you go to a party, you look at somebody across the room, and you say,
"All right,
that's pretty, that's nice."
We'll be honest.
You don't know across.
It's like
you never say, "Boy, would I like to get a hold of that mind."
Yeah.
You ever say that in your life?
Only.
Ever say that?
No, only if she's with somebody.
Yes.
That's right.
Now, you said, you know what's going on now? I've seen several shows in which couples are practicing celibacy.
On the show?
No.
I saw a John Davidson show where no one would touch it.
That's a whole other area. No, where couples who are either living together or married.
Yeah.
I'm sure apparently is a new thing. Where they seem to strengthen themselves by being celibate.
I think that happens because when you finally give in, it's great. I mean, I think, you know, I think it's the same principle. What did you call it
Hitting
in
yourself
college?
on the head with a
yeah, with a
hammer if it feels so good when you stop it.
Yes,
But they are. They're really doing it.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Well, they're also trying to sell the books, but I've seen those. I've seen those people. I don't believe that. I mean, I don't believe that. I do believe it, but then I wonder why there has to be some bizarre sexual quality to that. Could you imagine? I mean, lying next to a person all day long, honey? No. Maybe next year. Okay.
Next decade,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, let's talk late 80s. Well, you know, we'll wait.
Was your first... usually you're in puppy love. Do you remember that well?
I was in love with a puppy, yes. That's right.
No, when you had your first crush,
boy.
most guys remember the name of the very first girl. They had what you call a crush. I thought you were in love.
Yeah. I don't remember her name at all.
Oh, come on, nothing.
No,
Of course you don't.
I remember her name. I don't want to say it because of the Enquirer suit, but... Yes,
What do you?
I remember I was a little boy and I fell in love with a little girl, and I remember my first date. We went to the child section of the Beverly Hills Hotel. These little teeny rooms where the midgets would relax between calling people for phones, you know?
Only in California.
Yes.
Now, Freud was, I guess, said...
Freud, this is the psychiatrist.
Not to be confused with
the
Freud
talk show
in
host,
Burbank, Freud once says about women, what do they want? It's quoted to him saying, now here's a man who's...
I think it was, what the hell did they want?
He might have been, but this is a family show. Now here's a man who's one of the fathers of
our country?
Psychoanalytical behavior and so forth, and he didn't know. Now,
How am I supposed to know?
What do you
understand?
Let's do it the other way.
Film, yeah.
Everybody knows what we don't understand about women. What do you understand about women?
Ooh, that's interesting. Well, I know. I mean, why not talk about what I don't understand?
Okay, what don't you understand?
All right, I don't understand why they weigh that much less than us. They seem to eat as much as we do at meals. Did you ever take a woman out to dinner? The portions are the same for both of you.
Right.
The plates are both empty. They get home, they're 110, you're 180. This I don't figure.
Freud never went into that.
No, because that's because scales weren't accurate.
A lot of the other psychologists called him on that very point.
That's right. That's right.
Why they weigh less.
In two of his first volumes, he said that women weigh the same.
Yeah.
But it was a misprint. It was women pay the same.
So you don't understand that.
Yeah.
Is that the only thing you don't understand? Size?
And
how about emotions? Women stronger, they say, emotionally.
Well, I think that's
Men like to believe that they're the strongest emotionally. They're not. Women are.
Yes.
In a crisis, women seem to function better than men.
I'm jealous of that feature, and seriously, I think that's why women live longer. Because they don't hold it in. Did you ever see an autopsy of a man? You cut him open, tears flow out all over the floor.
It's been stored up in there for years.
It's like water. It's like a river. I mean, it's very important. This character that I play in this movie does let go of his emotions, and I've seen certain men react to it almost violently, like it's
how dare you cry?
Yeah. I mean, or how dare you even whine? Well, you know, the hell with them. I mean, whining. If you at least have to start with some exploration of what's inside.
Well, there's nothing wrong with crying at all. It's an emotional release.
No, not at all. Much better than well, not much better than hitting, but...
Maybe we should get to the film clip, because I know that's why you're here. You didn't
No. That's absolutely not true. I'm only here because I wanted to see what this hour format was like.
Well, this is what it's like.
Did you get my telegram? I don't know if you remember it. I sent you a telegram when you first went to an hour. Remember what it is? I said, pity the last two guests.
Oh, yes.
Never repeat a telegram. It doesn't work. Even Western Union says
You have to read
mail
them.
it,
You have
but
to read
don't
them.
repeat it, yes.